But this talk, I want to talk about my business in particular. I'm not here to push my brand name. Really all I want to do is explain my business ethic, because in one of the previous talks I talked about how I'm really excited to be living in a time when it seems to me that ethics in business are becoming the new trend. Like, the new trendy thing is to be an ethical company. A lot of companies will claim to be ethical, and then through one incident or another, we find out that they're actually quite nefarious. But I think that there are structural reasons for that. I think that there's structural reasons that capitalism has gained a bad name. So I'm going to lay out for you what my business ethics are, and hopefully we all agree. So my company is an LLC. I incorporated it to protect my friends and family myself and my friends and my family from the liability of owning a corporation or of doing business. But with that being said, it will be run as a sole proprietorship. So that means that my company will never go public. I will never sell off shares of my company, and the way that decision making will be made within my company will be solely on me, so that I myself am accountable. I would never want something that I'm trying to contribute to the world to harm somebody else in my name. I'm not okay with that. Another reason, to go back to not selling shares of my company or having a board of directors. First of all, there's a huge difference between a board of directors and a board of advisors. So a board of directors is a group of people who have shares in the company that have a financial benefit to the never-ending growth of that company. So a lot can be determined on someone's motivation for growth. When you have shareholders in a company, that creates a never-ending need for higher and higher profit margins. And the problem with that is that some people are greedier than others. And some people value human life less than others. And so when it comes down to a vote, if you can get enough people to believe that the human good, the public good, is not as important as the good of the company, this is no longer a contribution to society. This is a vampiristic drain on society. So I'm not going to allow that to creep into my company. I am the one who the final decision comes down to me, and I am the one who is solely responsible for the decisions of my company. So that's why I'm structuring it the way that I am. The second facet to how I will conduct business is I'm not willing to focus on gaining social brownie points. I'm not interested in whether social justice warriors are happy with me or happy with my company. I'm not interested in whether or not what I do or the actions that I perform look good. I'm concerned with whether or not they actually do good or not. I'm not interested in YouTube comments or how many followers on social media that our company has. I am interested in the participation of the people that would like to be involved with the company, and I am interested in their views. And other than that, all the rest of social media may just as well mind their business, because I don't have any interest in what you think. Coming up, I have, I'm right now creating the list and booking the list of people that I would like to do interviews with so that I can better structure my company the way that I imagine it. I'm not an intellectual, definitely not. I don't have a BA in business or a doctorate in economics. I don't know any of that stuff. I've read Thomas Sowell. I've listened to Michael Wolff interviews. And the thing that always strikes me when I listen to their perspectives on not just the economy, but the way the world works, is they are very cozied up to the standard capitalistic approaches. They are very comfortable with the tactics that companies use. And while Michael Wolff, he tends to view, I mean, he's an economist, but he tends to view corporations as evil. And on the other end of that spectrum is Thomas Sowell, who views any free market answer as the correct answer. My view is somewhere in the middle. So I want to learn more about economics, about social structures. I want to learn more about how to make companies profitable and how to navigate through our never-ending tax code so that at the end of the day, the best profits are for those of the people who continue to interact with my company. And so really, what I want to do is design a profit-free model. I don't want to go too far into how I think that might work because, like I said, I'm not an intellectual and I may not know what I'm talking about. But I feel that if all of the contractors that I deal with and myself are all comfortably compensated, that there is absolutely no reason that any company should show $3 billion in profit every year, especially if we have no shareholders. And when you look at things from that perspective, what do you do with that money? Well, my intention is to put that money straight back into the communities that are participating in my company. They are the ones that made everything possible, and they are the ones that should be reaping the rewards for that. So along that vein, I need to learn a lot more. And hopefully these interviews will help with that. One of the things, kind of the fourth resolution that I have for my company is that I would like to design a company that creates self-employment. I believe that through self-employment, people have power to make decisions in their own lives. I've been self-employed for 12 years, and I cannot imagine a world in which I was not my own boss. And I would wish that for every single capable, able-bodied person in the world. To not have a manager to answer to is, I believe, humankind's true nature. And so I would like for my company to contribute to that end, to that goal, to have as many people as self-employed as possible. Now I have some ideas about a couple of ways that we could do that. First of all, hiring people as only contractors. There's this left-wing liberal idea that companies hire contractors because then they're not required to pay their employment tax or pay for benefits and those kinds of things. But I think that those things are all negotiable. So I have a client that works for the local school district, and she's been telling me, kind of walking me through the process as it's been happening, of how the school district is bringing in people who are specialized in training others how to negotiate their contracts. And this is a huge step in the right direction, I think, for teachers' unions. But here in Rapid City, it's been really eye-opening for the teachers and the administration, who are now able to take that power back and to help determine the amendments in their own lives. So that's one way that I think that having a company that creates self-employment would work. And another a benefit of that is that I believe in this time of automation that jobs lost to automation would be of less concern if everyone were of the like mind that self-employment is the way to go. Because when you are strapped to be the sole provider for yourself or your family, you get creative really quick. And you learn how to think on your feet and how to gain resources when and where possible. And I think that that would be a giant paradigm shift for many, many people, to realize that they are in control of those things, not a corporation, not a manager. One of the last resolution that I have so far for my company, which is Better Than, is that I intend to be vocal in challenging other companies and humans to innovate new motive structures within their companies. I don't believe that a profit motive is what makes companies successful. I believe that connection to individuals is what makes companies successful. And the larger a company gets, the less connection they have to the individual. So like I said, I tend to be or I intend to be very vocal in challenging other companies and other people who are thinking of starting companies, who are thinking of providing a service, or maybe already do, to raise your bar of expectations when you think of the ethics of what a company should be. So I think that, excuse my language, but peer pressure is a motherfucker. And if we can get enough companies, like I said, they're multiplying daily, ethical companies that have clear resolutions about the morals of their company, I think that peer pressure is going to be really effective in getting maybe older, more established companies to get along with these lines of thinking, because that's how we're going to sow change, is creating a new social standard.